Hi, this is Brad from Pro Wrestling Junkies, and today's guest hails from Gilberttown, Alabama. She's been in the business a little over 2 years, and she was discovered and trained by Booker T. At Booker T. You noticed her at his Reality of Wrestling camp. She's worked for Impact, Reality of Wrestling, where she's a 2-time Diamonds champion, and that happened all in her first 8 months. For RISE and SHIMMER, she joined their rosters in her first year. She stood across the ring from Tessa Blanchard, Alex Gracia, Shotzi Blackheart, Kylie Ray, Penelope Ford, just to name a few. So without further delay, I present you the female professional wrestler who is on a meteoric rise in this business and paper cut survivor, A.Q.A. But she's not with us today. Because of the limits of something called the internet, some people refer to it as the World Wide Webs, we are unable to establish a audio and video connection that would be proper for a viewer like you to be able to see and hear. So I provided the questions, A.Q.A. provided the answers, and you will be seeing those shortly. Programming note. I was going to get a female to narrate this, A.Q.A.'s responses, but based on the fact that 2 911 operators have referred to me as ma'am in the past, as well as every telemarketer who I've ever spoken with. They all refer to me as ma'am or lady. So I decided it'd be safe if I narrate this. So without further ado, here's my interview with A.Q.A. I was a small child, but super hyper and always jumping from wall to wall, both literally and figuratively. In school, I tried to fit in with the kids my age, and then I realized they were either into stuff that I had no interest in doing, or some of them just wanted to get in trouble all the time. I stayed away. I was the kid that hung out with the teachers and administrators. I always got along better with people who were older than me. Until this day, a lot of my friends are older than I am. I just enjoy the company of mature people. I would say around age 12 is when I became a true introvert. And because I always kept stuff to myself, that caused me to develop social anxiety. My family and friends would probably disagree because I am more vocal around them, but in reality, I'm extremely shy and reserved. As a matter of fact, I just got to the point last year where I wasn't afraid to use drive-thru if other people were inside my car with me. It's something I do my best to work with. I don't want to be this way forever. Some days it takes me a while to make a doctor's appointment, or when I go into a store pre-COVID. If I do not see anyone in line, I will still walk around the store until more customers get in the line, so I'll not be the first person the cashier talks to. When I was 10 years old, my grandfather is a huge wrestling fan and still watches to this day. He's the reason I got into it. I just happened to look up while playing with my toys one day, and I caught an episode of Raw that he was watching, and the rest is history. Although Raw was the reason I became a wrestling fan, it was watching SmackDown that made me want to become a wrestler. That same week, I saw Triple H for the first time, and I was like, wow, he's cool. I want to be like him. But that was a 10-year-old me. Other me just wanted to be A.Q.A. Literally the moment I saw Triple H wrestle on SmackDown, at 10 years old, I made up my mind that night, and the very next day I started training myself on trampoline. I would try to recreate the moves I saw on TV on my trampoline, but none of my friends in the neighborhood nor my sister wanted any part of it. Looking back at it, I don't blame them. I had no idea what I was doing, but I kept at it every day. Honestly, the reason why I can do a majority of the high-flying moves I do in the ring is because I would practice for hours and hours every day on my trampoline. Of course, me announcing I wanted to become a wrestler at age 10 was not taken seriously. I think my family thought it would eventually leave my mind, even though I was still saying it in high school and college, and even doing projects and papers on the subject. My mom and dad were very supportive. There's never been any idea they've told my sister and me no to. My pawpaw was also on board for it as well. My granny, aunt, and uncle were supportive of the idea, but they wanted me to finish college first. I think they saw that as a more surefire way to success than branching out with wrestling first. So you can probably imagine the shock when I left college senior year to pursue wrestling. Even though I had moved to Texas and started training, my granny still didn't believe I was going to do it until she saw me in my first match. That's when she told me she knew I was serious. And outside of my mom, she's the one screaming the loudest for me when I come out. You'd think it'd be the physical part, but that's the easiest part of it all. It's the mental side of wrestling that gets you. You look around and you see other people doing things better than you, or faster than you, or more crisp than you, or getting more match opportunities, and it starts to mess with your mind. You start to question if this is really for you, or will you ever reach so-and-so's level. I still struggle with being inside of my own head, but it's mainly because I'm a perfectionist. I could do 99 things perfectly, and if the 100th one is subpar or just terrible, I'll beat myself up for it. I have an extremely hard time both giving myself credit and watching my own work. I know that's the best way to learn, but I'll just end up ripping everything good to pieces. Even matches where I have received high praise from fans, other wrestlers, my trainers, and booker, I still find that one or two things I know I could have done better. Fun fact, to this day, I still skip past my entrance. I hate seeing myself walk to the ring. I feel I could always do better. Honestly, it depends. Some days I feel great, and others I still question if I should be doing this. I think once I figured out who I really wanted to be, A.Q.A. to be, I will be fine. I'm still tweaking some things, so I study film and work on promos and my mannerisms in my alone time. I like what I've been coming up with so far, so once I return back to training, I want to test them out. Of course, and it didn't help that almost every person in the building that night kept asking, "Hey, are you nervous about your match tonight?" As if that was going to help me. It's funny though, once the bell rung, all of my nerves left. That's actually what happens in all of my matches. From the moment I enter the building, my nerves never leave until the bell rings. There have only been a few instances where I wasn't nervous at all. My first match with Kylie Rae, all of my single matches with Roxy, and my match with Promise Braxton. Also, a funny thing that I've discovered about myself is if I sense anyone I'm wrestling is more nervous than me, my nerves automatically drop, and I take on the role of everything is going to be fine, we got this, with whomever the opponent is. Or I try to make them laugh. Other than that, I'm a nervous wreck, which is funny because I've been told by multiple people that I didn't come off that way at all. I'm really good at hiding it, is when I want to be. I was not nervous with Kylie, Roxy, and Promise is because I felt very comfortable with them. Kylie was very excited about our match, and having someone on her level being excited to wrestle someone as inexperienced as I was at the time was not only very humbling but calming. And I also knew I was working with a vet that would take care of me and guide me if I got lost. Roxy is one of my very good friends, and I just knew we'd have a blast no matter what and take care of one another in the ring. With Promise, I was extremely excited about wrestling her. I just knew we'd have to have a great match. She's an opponent I hope to run a program with one day. Before I started wrestling, I'd already developed back and knee problems from hours on the trampoline. How ironic that the thing that helped me the most also caused me the most pain. I used to be in the very beginning when I didn't realize I didn't have to do 100 different moves at 100 miles per hour just to have a good match. Once I figured that out, my body showed its appreciation that and I do my best to tend to anything that needs to be healed. I used to try and tough it out, but now if I sense anything is wrong, I have no problem seeking treatment for it or just simply waiting it out. And because of that, I do not have any daily pains. I still deal with the issues my trampoline caused, but usually in a day or two, those subside as well. I know what it feels like to be new and not know anyone. It's not a good feeling. I try to be as warm and inviting as possible. I always greet anyone new with a smile and do my best to remember their names and make them feel welcome. I have a tendency to give out nicknames or come up with a special handshake or something with some of them. If I see someone alone in the corner or I see them zoning out during training, I go over to them and strike up conversations, even if it's small. Or if we're in training and they do something really well and no one has commented on it yet, I make it a mission and let them know I saw it and I'm proud of it. Whenever I see someone getting ready for their first match and I can see or sense they're mentally taking themselves out of it, like I have a tendency to do to myself from time to time, I do my best to either try and make them laugh, encourage them, or erase those thoughts out of their mind while also giving them some space. Would you swallow a Lego for $1,000? No. Are you a cat person? No, but I love my sister's cat and I love kittens. Once they grow up, I tend to keep my distance. I have nothing against them, I'm just not a fan, but I'll pet one if I see it. Would you wear an article of clothing made out of terry cloth? That has never once crossed my mind, so no. Ever gotten a parasite from wrestling? No. Have you ever been spit on by an enemy? Let me just say this, if anyone ever thought about spitting on me, neither less actually doing it, trust, it'd be the last time they'd ever spit on anyone again. And if you mean in terms of wrestling, I would never agree to that, ever. Keep what's in your mouth in it.